Vince McMahon has been a person that's been on the news a lot lately because of his documentary, but his son as well has been making some headlines because not only earlier in the year, about in August, I believe, he met with Tony Khan himself and we had a picture, quote unquote, leak. Very recently, adding on to that, Shane O'Mac, after talking to Mercedes Moni and all of that, also coincidentally, quote unquote, again, met up with the Young Bucks in a random airport. We do have a picture. We'll show you as the video goes on. But this just brings up the conversation about Shane McMahon joining AEW and what he can potentially do. Big Om, like, do you think this is a coincidence or is there more to this?
Well, there is more to this, according to Cultaholic. I actually want to read quickly from a little report they did. It says a source who was on the flight told Cultaholic that the Young Bucks and Shane McMahon were both on the 6:29 a.m. Eastern flight from New York's JFK International Airport to Salt Lake City, Utah, which is a popular destination for connecting flights to California. The source further revealed that the Bucks and Shane McMahon were seen speaking and laughing together prior to boarding the plane. Shane was sat in the row directly behind the Young Bucks in first class, although McMahon claimed that it was just a coincidence that he and Matt and Nick Jackson were on the same flight. McMahon and the Young Bucks didn't interact much during the flight, with the AEW World Tag Team Champions spending most of their journey sleeping. The flight landed around 9 a.m. Mountain Time. The three individuals ended up waiting back in the plane after the plane landed, presumably to take a photo together. That is according to Cultaholic. All right. Is it a coincidence? I think that's the biggest question. Look, if it was just this photo, if it was just this meeting, I would totally believe it was just a coincidence. If it's just this photo and, he ran into Mercedes the day after Forbidden Door at the airport, okay, just a coincidence. Tony Khan, in a vacuum, again, them just meeting, just a coincidence. This happening time and time again, man. Look, Shane does live in the New York area, so I totally believe he frequents those airports. Part of me is also like, what the hell is Shane McMahon doing flying commercial like this?
Yeah.
like, why was he at LaGuardia? Why was he at JFK? Like, what's going on here? But, okay, in a vacuum, these are all, like, I could buy that they're coincidences. Together, I'm kind of like, I feel like we've crossed the line from coincidences into, like, utter, like, slight trolling. Because I think that's kind of what's happening. And it's weird because when you look back and like look at the situation, right? This was something that kind of like spun its way out of nothing.
Yeah.
People were just speculating online that, man, it would be cool if Shane McMahon could join. And like there was like a false, now we know a false report out earlier that that Tony Khan was interested in bringing in Shane McMahon, and then Tony responded to that report saying, "I've never even met him," and then that weirdly and the coincidental meeting between him and Mercedes at an airport led to a coincidental meeting, well, less of a coincidental meeting, between Tony and Shane at a private airport. I'm just going to say it. I don't care if I'm getting worked. I don't care if I'm like come across as a mark. I think this ends with Shane McMahon and AEW in some way, shape, or form. The Young Bucks, as big as trolls as they are, I think they also understand that, like, look, at a certain point when you push the envelope with your trolling, you're going to set some expectations. And one thing that we know about AEW and Tony Khan is they will never set expectations too high to the point where they're unreachable. And Tony's very good about this because if something's not going to happen and people are talking about it like it's going to happen, he will come out and flat out deny it in interviews. Like he has done this many times before. The fact that he doesn't do that, but instead like keeps on talking about like how, yeah, Shane, it would be great to have Shane in AEW. And like does it with that smile on his face. I'm like, there's something there. Again, could be me getting worked. I don't know, but World's End. That's the prediction.
Okay. Well, me personally, I'm kind of creeped out about the Cultaholic source. Like he was watching them throughout the whole flight, like every move. That's kind of creepy. But yeah, like these meetings are too much. I just don't think they don't have a relationship. Like they've been talking. I almost look at this as 100% certainty that Shane McMahon is coming there. And Tony and Shane, they're both nice people, Even in the documentary, that was a big point that they stood on when it comes to the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix. Like Shane is just nice, just like Tony. I think they're gonna just really be of two minds. They're gonna end up becoming decent friends, I believe so. And Shane always likes doing stuff like this, anyways. Like again, looking at the documentary, old footage, Shane was wearing like Ico Pro, like the Japan stuff. Anyways, he was always kind of a mark, bigger mark than Vince. UFC thing again, Shane was always like looking at these, the wide, I guess, lens instead of Vince just looking at the mainstream stuff. So like
ECW.
There you go.
It was his idea to try to buy ECW.
So there's a lot of arrows pointing to the same direction. But Kenny, what's your thoughts on this entire Shane McMahon situation?
Can't be a work, man. Can't be a work because Big On brought up a great point. Why is Shane flying commercial? That's what he's not doing, for one. For two, he's just on the plane with Young Bucks sitting in front of them. Who's reporting all of this? Yeah. Was somebody else on the plane like recording? Like, okay, they haven't talked. The Young Bucks are sleeping right now. Like, who's doing the commentary to follow behind them?
I promise you, someone was in someone's Discord, like in the Wrestling Observer boards, like being like, "All right, look, they just got up to go to the bathroom."
What's he doing now? What are they doing now? Shane just got up to go to the bathroom. But I mean, who took this picture? That's another question.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's definitely something going on, man. You think Vince McMahon took the picture? Yeah. Vince is coming up too?
Yeah.
What if everybody thinks Shane McMahon is going to AEW, but then like the moment where they kind of build up for him to arrive, you hear no chance.
Oh my God, dude. Come on.
Come on, man.
I don't think the internet and AEW's viewership would tank after that.
No, I would hashtag give AEW a second chance. Hashtag, I mean, come on. That'd be it.
You said the viewership would tank, Big Om?
I would stop watching.
Their viewership would go through the roof.
Exactly.
I would stop watching. That's
2 million views the next week.
Stop watching. Never. Nope. I'll stop covering it. Real Take Wrestling would die.
But yeah, something's definitely going on. I don't know when. I'm hoping like the Moxley thing does lead into like a WWE invasion angle where you got all of the WWE guys, because at All Out, when it happened, Wheeler Yuta, he's the only guy who's not been to WWE before, and he's the guy they kept out of the loop. So I think there's an interesting story they can tell here. I'm just hoping they actually tell it. If Jon Moxley beats Bryan Danielson for the championship, I think that's where everything starts to kind of break down and we figure out exactly what's going on.
But
man,
are you making a prediction?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, is this happening at World's End to you too as well, Kenny? Like, is that your prediction?
I wouldn't push it out until then. I know, everybody likes the long game, but we see what Triple H is doing in WWE. I haven't watched in a while, but I think they're still doing the Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going back until they finish. But I mean, I don't like the long, drawn-out booking to make things be so long, because after a while, people stop caring about it. So it's hot right now. You know what? If the plan is to get Shane McMahon involved with Jon Moxley, I say as soon as he wins, build some type of angle where Shane McMahon comes out there, because we're going to be at what was Wrestle Dream? We're going to be at Wrestle Dream, so I want it to happen there.
Well, we'll see if that ends up happening. I think the interesting thing here is like you have like a few moving pieces coming in. Like you have Bobby Lashley likely coming in a couple of weeks, and like he's going to be doing it up with Swerve at some point. Like that seems to be the direction they're going in. Bobby Lashley was like pretty much a big favorite of Shane McMahon, reportedly backstage. So, like, I think this, like, you could do a thing like Shane slowly bringing in his guys. And, Moxley in the word, like, he's seen the light, Like, AEW needs him more than he needs AEW. So, in his eyes, he's coming to save, AEW, even though it's, like, with Shane. Like, right? And I think there's a lot of interesting stuff they could do here. I hope that they do end up doing something like this. The Elite, though, where they land is going to be interesting, because this picture with Shane, I'm just like, whose side are you on? Like, are you on the side of the AEW originals because you helped start this company, or is this like your corporate benefactor, and are you betraying the company? Like, that's the interesting thing with this storyline. There's so many different ways this could go. There's so many different turns it could take. I worry about one thing though. If Shane is not the plan to come in, and we're still going with this like Elite invasion, whatever storyline, you got to have a big payoff.
You're right. You're right. And I think we can talk about that in our next video, actually, because that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Subscribe for more wrestling content, and always and forever, kiss the ring.